Alvaro Pascualione's landmark 1995 Journal of Neurophysiology study showed that mentally practicing a finger sequence for 2 hours per day over 5 days produced nearly the same motor cortex changes as physically practicing it. Driscoll's meta-analysis of 62 studies found mental practice produces a significant performance benefit on par with a substantial fraction of the gains from physical practice. Every Olympic team and elite athletic program uses this, and the neuroscience is now well established. Visualization is not magical thinking. It is motor imagery, and it measurably rewires the brain. Mental rehearsal activates the same motor cortex circuits as physical movement. Elite athletes use it because the neuroscience is real. Desity and Gene-Rod proved motor imagery fires identical neural networks. Pascualione proved mental practice alone rewires the brain measurably. Visualization is skill acquisition, not wishful thinking. Today's evidence comes from Gene Desity's foundational behavioral brain research paper on the neurophysiology of motor imagery, Mark Gene-Rod's work on mental imagery in motor context, Alvaro Pascualione's Journal of Neurophysiology TMS study showing mental practice changes motor cortex, and James Driscoll's Journal of Applied Psychology meta-analysis of 62 mental practice studies across athletic and skill domains. Alvaro Pascualione's Harvard team used transcranial magnetic stimulation to map motor cortex representations in participants who physically practiced a finger sequence, participants who only mentally practiced it, and controls. After 5 days, both the physical and the mental practice groups showed significant expansion of the motor cortex area representing the relevant muscles, and the two groups were roughly equivalent to each other. Mental rehearsal alone produced measurable, trackable brain change. The motor cortex does not fully distinguish between doing and vividly imagining doing. 4 neural mechanisms explain why motor imagery works. Motor cortex activation fires the same regions that control actual movement, which strengthens the relevant neural pathways. Cerebellum activation simulates timing and coordination patterns. Basal ganglia activity rehearses movement sequencing. And autonomic responses, elevated heart rate, muscle activation, appear during vivid imagery at measurable levels, meaning the body partially believes the movement is happening. This is why the practice strengthens real performance. James Driscoll's 1994 Journal of Applied Psychology meta-analysis pooled 62 studies of mental practice across athletic, surgical, and cognitive skill domains. The overall finding was an effect size of roughly 0.26 standard deviations, substantial and consistent. Mental practice was most effective for cognitive skills, strong for motor skills, and benefits decayed over time without refresher imagery. The practical conclusion: mental rehearsal most effectively supplements physical practice and accelerates learning on complex skills where the movement has a significant cognitive component. For measurable dimensions, separate elite visualization practice from amateur attempts. Vividness: how sensory-rich the imagery is, predicts the effect. Perspective matters. First-person internal imagery produces stronger effects than third-person external viewing for most skills. Duration matters. Sessions of 10 to 15 minutes outperform short 5-second attempts. And consistency over weeks, not hours in a single session, predicts the durable cortical adaptation Pascualione documented. The most widespread visualization myth is that just imagining outcomes, imagining winning, imagining success, produces performance gains. The research is the opposite. Gabriele Oettingen's work shows that imagining outcomes alone reduces motivation and performance by tricking the brain into a premature sense of accomplishment. What works is motor imagery, the process, the movement, the specific steps, not the outcome. Elite athletes visualize the swing, the landing, the breath, not the medal ceremony. 3 steps to install the visualization habit. First, pick a specific motor or performance skill to train: a presentation opening, a tennis serve, a sales conversation, a surgical sequence. Second, build the imagery in first person with all 5 senses: what you see, hear, feel in your muscles, even the smell and the temperature, for 10 to 15 minutes daily. Third, always follow mental rehearsal with physical practice when possible. The combination outperforms either alone by a substantial margin. 5 practical moves to lock in the visualization habit this week. Pick one specific performance skill to train and write it down. Schedule 10 to 15 minutes daily, at the same time. Use full sensory first-person imagery, not just sight. Pair with physical practice on the same or adjacent day. And track each session so the habit has evidence behind it. Skill acquisition benefits appear after 4 or more weeks of consistent practice, not after a single motivating session. 3 if-then plans that lock visualization into daily life. After you finish your morning coffee, close your eyes and run through the specific skill sequence in first person for 10 minutes. Before any high-stakes performance, spend 2 minutes rehearsing the first 60 seconds of it. Process, not outcome. And on rest days from physical practice, still run the mental session. Those are the days visualization compounds most. Visualization is not magical thinking. It is motor imagery, and the neuroscience is established. Pascual-Leone proved mental practice alone rewires the motor cortex. Desity and Jean Rod mapped the shared neural circuits between imagined and executed movement. Driscoll's meta-analysis confirmed consistent performance gains across 62 studies. Visualize the process in first person with full sensory detail for 10 to 15 minutes daily. Pair with physical practice, and the brain adapts. Every elite athletic program uses this. The science explains why. Subscribe to Habits, backed by science for weekly peer-reviewed research applied to the habits that directly improve how you think, feel, and perform. Before you close this video, close your eyes for 60 seconds and run through one specific skill you want to get better at, in first person, with full sensory detail. That 1 minute is the same motor cortex activation elite athletes build their careers on. The habit starts the moment you start.